Nanach, Nanach Nachman, the very famous letter from the Baal Shem Tov to his brother-in-law, Rav Gershon Kittever. It's not here the time to discuss the whole letter, but in the middle of the letter he says that on Rosh Hashanah of the Hebrew year 507, he went up to heaven. He put his soul in heaven, and he saw there tremendous joy and rejoicing, the likes of which he never saw ever. Even to this day, he says, such great happiness and joy. He had no comprehension of such joy, just beyond. So he asked, what's this joy about? He said he suspected that maybe it's in anticipation of his passing, that maybe they were preparing to accept him, that he would pass away from this world and join them in the future world, and that was the joy that they had in anticipation of his joining them. But they said, no, that's not the reason, because we're happy with you still living in the world with the unifications, that you unify everything to God. And he says to this day he doesn't know what that joy is about. So we could posit that because the Baal Shem Tov himself suspected that it was his passing that they were anticipating that brought the joy, so maybe it was the passing of a different sage, because that year was the year that the Ramchal passed away. And the Ramchal revealed what I know, no one ever revealed what the Ramchal revealed in the world. So maybe the great joy was because of the Ramchal joining them in heaven. So then the Baal Shem Tov continues in the letter, and he says that he asked Messiah, when are you coming? And the Messiah told the Baal Shem Tov, this you should know, when your teachings are publicized and they go out in the world, and your well springs go out into the world, what I taught you, what you understood, and the people could do the unifications and the ascents like you, then the klipot, the evil house, will be finished, and it'll be a tremendous time of ratzon, of will and desire and salvation. That's what the Messiah told the Baal Shem Tov, very famous. It's already a popular song, very famous. So the Baal Shem Tov, they're singing this very joyously in the songs. Everyone gets excited. When's Messiah coming? When your teachings go out. But when the Baal Shem Tov heard this, he was very perplexed, and he was aghast a little. He was in great. It says here, he was in great. He writes, the Baal Shem Tov writes, he was in great distress. How could we have to wait such long? How could it be that everyone's going to be able to do what I'm doing? How's that possible? But then the Baal Shem Tov says, so he was taught 3 skulot. A skula is something propitious, something that's beneficial in a secret way. You do this, it brings on something else. So 3 skulot and 3 holy names, and with these, it's easy for this to be taught and explained. And he was appeased. He said he became relaxed with this knowledge, but they didn't give him permission to teach these 3 things to anybody. So as easy as it is, he wasn't able to give it over. But this, he says, this I'll tell you, this he was allowed to give a little hint in the direction of what these three things are. It says, always have Hashem before you, especially in prayer and when you're learning, and every word that leaves your lips, you should have kavanah, intention, to unify in every letter three things: olamot, the worlds; v'neshamot, the souls; ve'elahut, and God. And these go up and attach, bind together and unify the letters to make a word, and they make an actual true unification in God. And put your soul there with them to be joined in this union, and all the worlds are unified, and this brings tremendous joy that's endless, that's unfathomable, much greater than any wedding or any joy that we know of. And he goes on to say that you should review this letter all the time. So that's the hint, that there's the hint to these three things that the Baal Shem Tov received from the Messiah to bring the Messiah seems to be to do this unification in the worlds, in the souls, and in God. So these three things seem to really be exactly what the Ramchal puts out as three reasons that God created the world. The Ramchal lists them in a book called Sharei Ramchal, and here it's a book that contains an anthology of different books. And in this book, there's a section called Igros Pischei Chachma V'das, letters from the Ramchal, and the very last page of that section, he lists. The Ramchal says there are three things to know. Each one is more inner, a deeper meaning and reason in the kavanah, the intention of the creation of the world. The superficial reason is that Hashem Yisbarach created the world to reveal His attributes, right? Because He has mercy and kindness and patience, all these divine attributes. As long as it's only God in the world, so then they're not expressed. So God created the world for the expression of His divine attributes. That's the superficial reason that's already brought down by our sages. The second, so let's put it straight out. That reason right there, to reveal the attributes of God, which is the superficial reason, is the first thing that the Baal Shem Tov mentioned of the three things, the olamot, the worlds. All the worlds are there because they portray and they manifest the attributes of God in them. That's the unification to be seen in the worlds. The second idea, the second point, intention, a reason that Hashem Yisbarach created the world, was the hativ, to do goodness. Everything in the world is here for Hashem put him there to do good to them. Even though in this world there seems to be suffering and all these things, but the Ramchal explains at great length in many books how everything is ultimately just good. And everything that's created, it's for its best. The reasons are explained elsewhere, and I don't want to divest. I don't want to go off. But that's the deeper meaning of the creation of the world is to do goodness. The superficial reason is God's revealing His attributes. A deeper meaning of the world is to do goodness to creation. Now, this reason is directly, one could see right away, is directly related to the second thing that the Baal Shem Tov said, to make unifications of the souls, because this reason is about the souls, that everyone that was created is to do good to them, and when the souls have this goodness, when they start appreciating God and the great and they have this, when this intention is manifested in the souls, so that then that intention of God's creation is accomplished. That's the ultimate unification of that paradigm. The third reason that Shem created the world, which the Ramchal says is the main reason, because Hashem Yisbarach wanted to reveal His unity, His oneness, that He's the first, He's the last, there's nothing besides Him. And this is a very, very deep, sophisticated idea, which is really a simple idea, but the Ramchal in Das Tfunos especially explains this at great length, that the whole creation, everything in the world, all the complications and sophistication, all shine this message ultimately. We'll merit to see it, but it's all created to show that there's only God. All these forces that are going on are at full power, trying to show their own power. Ultimately, that itself is going to be the manifestation that there is no only power but God, because God made the world with such infinite wisdom that He gave everything, every power that could possibly be imagined or created, all gets a chance to show. And when we look at the creation, we'll see that as best as they try to show their power, it's obviously God's. So the ultimate reason of the creation, the deepest reason, and the third reason, is to show that there's only one God. And that's the third thing that the Ramchal says, that the third unification that he gives a hint to in order to bring the Messiah, the third unification is in God. So we see, quickly to review, that the Baal Shem Tov gave a hint to the three unifications that are easy for us to do, so to bring the Messiah, to bring redemption. And he couldn't reveal the reasons explicitly, but he gave a hint, and he says, make sure to unify these three things all the time, with everything, with every word that you say in Torah, in prayer and Torah, to unify the worlds, the souls, and God. To unify the worlds, we see parallels and fits exactly what the Ramchal says is the superficial world, a meaning of creation, which is to reveal God's attributes. All the worlds, everything that's creation is revealing some attribute of God. The second thing the Baal Shem Tov says is to make unifications of the soul. And that parallels and fits exactly what the Ramchal says is a deeper meaning, the second meaning of creation, which is the goodness that Hashem created the world to do good to the neshamot, to the souls, that ultimately we're gonna merit in the future world, to see even that in this world everything was good, and we're gonna have ecstasy, tremendous ecstasy of the future world, which is beyond the really real goodness. And that's a unification for the soul, to realize God's goodness. And the third thing the Baal Shem Tov says, that we should be busy in every word that we say, is to make unification of God. That's the deepest meaning that the Ramchal says. The main meaning of creation was for God to show His unity, and which is really the culmination of the second reason, because the second reason is the goodness that the souls, that God created to do good to the souls, to make it good for them. So the real goodness is for them to have to realize the unity of God, that the Ramchal explains elsewhere too. So it's really the same as the second reason. It's the culmination. It's the apex of the second reason, to reveal the unity of God, which is the ultimate ecstasy and joy. So, Baruch Hashem, so far we've established that in this letter from the Baal Shem Tov, which could very well be an allusion to the Ramchal's joining heaven, because of the great joy that he saw there, which he didn't know what it was. He suspected it was his anticipating him. So it could very well have been because they have just received the Ramchal that year. And then the Baal Shem Tov goes on to explain what the Messiah says is necessary to bring him these three unifications. And we're seeing that the Ramchal already gave the keys to doing this, and this is step one. Bez Hashem will show a deeper, take this to the next stage of how the Ramchal revealed how to actually unify everything together, all these three things, to unify them together, each one and all together in an amazing way. This is already much more advanced than this discussion. But Hashem, we should merit in the merit of Rabbeinu Nachman, who's the teacher of the Messiah. Many people know that the Arizal said that the Messiah is higher than Moses. Moses is the aspect of the fourth level of the Neshama, the Chaya, and Messiah is the aspect of Yechida, which is higher. But the Ramchal already revealed, not too many people know this, even great Kabbalists, that it's true that Messiah is going to be greater than what Moses was, but Moses doesn't remain where he was. As Messiah rises to this high level, so Moses rises, Moshe Rabbeinu rises even higher. So Moshe Rabbeinu remains the teacher of all of Israel, even of the Messiah. And Rabbi Nachman is the soul of Messiah, the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's the teacher of Messiah, and his teachings are the teachings of the redemption. So may we merit in the merit of Nachman to still finish off this discussion, bring it to the higher level. Nachman. Nanach.